When I first got into storytelling, I was completely confused. All the tips out there made it sound so complicated. But I learned it's actually pretty easy if you know what matters. If you just give me 7 minutes, I'll show you how to tell better stories than 97% of people. The secret to great storytelling comes down to one thing: zooming into the moment. The best storytellers drop you into one specific scene that you can see, feel, and remember. But let me show you what I mean. Here's a 30-second story from Anne Hathaway.
I've been to the gym, and I'm on this machine, and I see this guy staring at me, and I'm like, oh God, am I doing something wrong? And I'm like, hey, is everything cool? Like, did you want to work in? And he goes, oh God, no, I'm just in my own world. Like, no. And I was like, okay, cool, because you're like staring at me really hard. So I go back and I get off the machine, and then he comes up to me. He's like, so, you've been working out at this gym for a long time? And I was like, oh my God, he's hitting on me. And I'm like, oh, I mean, yeah, I've been coming here for a little bit. He's like, cool, I'm a trainer here, and I was just wondering if you wanted some pointers. And I was like, oh no, he's not hitting on you, he just wants a job. So I say to this guy, like, you know, I had a baby 7 weeks ago, and he goes, oh, trying to lose the baby weight.
Wow.
So I just, you know, muster up my dignity, and I say, no, Brandon, I'm just trying to regain my strength. And he said, great, and he walked away, and I cried a little bit.
Did you catch it? She didn't say, I was at the gym and then this guy came by and gave me some advice. She didn't do that. That would have been a summary. Instead, she zoomed into this one specific moment, the one conversation. It felt like a movie playing in our mind. The good news is that it's actually easier than you think. And you can do exactly the same just by using 4 simple techniques I call PAST, or past. Now, you can think of zooming into the past. First technique, P for place. Start by telling us where the story is happening. Examples: 2 weeks ago, I'm sitting on the couch in my living room in Chicago. Or I'm outside the conference room taking a deep breath. And when you tell your audience where you are, a picture starts forming in their heads. They hear living room or conference room, and they instantly start imagining it. It doesn't matter which living room or conference room they can picture, as long as they can picture something. Sometimes people think that they need to describe the location like in great detail. They're like, the conference room had a big wooden table, a shiny whiteboard, and a very modern screen. Please don't do that. Going into those details can make your story feel staged or fake, and it just wastes time on details that are not really important. Next technique, A for actions. Next, share what is actually happening. What are you or someone else doing in that moment? Are you walking, biking, yelling, typing, waiting, crying, whatever it is, describe it. Examples: I'm staring at my laptop, hovering over the send button. Or I'm putting my bags onto the security belt at the airport. These actions make your story as if it was unfolding in real time. They give your audience a mental movie to follow along, and they add momentum to your story. So describe the action, but the next technique is actually the one that I use the most. S for speech. Many of your stories will involve more than one character. Maybe a coworker, a client, a family member, a friend. You can make your story instantly more interesting by sharing what you or that character said in that crucial moment of the story. What were the exact words? Quote that person. Examples: instead of saying, oh, my manager was very frustrated, say, my manager called me and said, what the hell was that? You were all over the place. Or instead of saying, my mom loved the idea, say, my mom told me, wow, this is exactly what I needed. Thank you so much. Now dialogue pulls your listeners into the scene. It makes the story feel as if it was unfolding in real time. But don't worry, if you can't remember the exact words of that moment, well, feel free to use the words that could have been said in that moment. And last technique, T for thoughts. We as humans, we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day. Our brains constantly bounce between fears, hopes, dreams, plans, crazy thoughts. Now, to make your story more interesting, more emotional, share some of those thoughts. Ask yourself, what was I thinking during that crucial moment of the story? And then just share those thoughts. Examples: instead of saying, I was nervous about that meeting, say, I thought, oh, please don't ask me any questions, right? I don't know the answers. Or instead of saying, I was excited, say, I thought, this is my moment. This will be the video that will blow up my channel. Do you see the difference? It seems like semantics, but it makes the story much more interesting. A common mistake is that people share a version of their thoughts that sounds just too professional. They say something like, I thought this represents a supreme opportunity. Do you actually think like that? Probably not, right? Most of our thoughts, they are quite different to that. They're a bit chaotic, irrational, sometimes downright neurotic. But those are the exact thoughts that will make your story more interesting. So when you share those thoughts, give your audience the raw, unfiltered, polished version of that thought. But let's now watch another short story, this time from actor Chris Pratt. And as you watch it, see if you can spot the elements of past.
I had this rule with my old man, and I have it with my son, which is when you're fishing, you can swear. So we're out fishing, he catches a fish, and I'm trying to get him to take a picture with the fish before we let it go, and it flops out of his hands, and these bass have these little spines on their back, and the fin pokes him in the hand, falls in the water. He starts to cry, and he's like, oh, and I said, hey, buddy, are you all right? You all right? He said, oh, Dad, I'm about to swear. And he goes, that bass is stupid. And I was like, all right, buddy, yeah, you know, now's the time, get it out. And he goes, that stupid bass is a fucking pussy.
Let's break down why this story works so well. First, place. Right away, he gives us a vivid place. He's out on the water fishing with his son. Boom. That instantly creates that image in our heads. Second, action. He doesn't stay vague, right? He describes exactly what's happening. His son is catching this fish, the fish flops in his hand, and at the end, the fin even pokes him. That level of detail makes the moment feel real. And then third, speech. He then shares what his son says in this moment. He doesn't just summarize that his son was upset. Instead, he says, Dad, I'm about to swear. That is such a funny line. This one is so good. And then fourth, thoughts. In that story, he doesn't share that much of what he was thinking in the moment. I would say in this story, actually the dialogue did the heavy lifting. But that just shows that, sure, if your story can have all the 4 techniques, perfect. But even if it just has 3 out of the 4, it's already enough. So if you want your stories to land, remember this, zoom into the moment. Storytelling isn't just about flying over the scene. Storytelling is about walking through that front door. Now, today we covered the foundation of every great story. But if you want to go further, check out this next video where I give you some even more actionable tips on how to become a magnetic storyteller. See you there.